Hey guys, thank you for joining me today. I'm back with a brand new video. If you're new here, hello, welcome, and thank you for dropping by. My name is Jane, and in this channel, we talk about fragrances. If you enjoy fragrance-related videos, do consider subscribing to this channel to see more videos in the future. I usually post twice a week, but lately my schedule is all over the place, but I still try my best to upload whenever I can. So don't forget to turn on that notification by clicking the bell icon to be notified whenever I post a new video. Today's video is all about the top 10 fragrances YouTube made me buy. I will be mentioning the content creators, the YouTube reviewers, the influencers who in one way or the other influenced me to pull the trigger on these fragrances. I have some honorable mentions just because there were too many people who said nice things about this perfume that I couldn't credit a single person who actually influenced me. Nonetheless, they came to my attention because many people have only good things to say about these fragrances. Most of these fragrances are not blind buys. I try my best to sample them before getting a full bottle. If you've watched my past couple of videos, you'd know it's not too easy to get hold of some of these fragrances around here. But in a way, it's good because it discourages from totally blind buying. A bottle or two from this list were blind buys, but mostly I have thought through getting full bottles of this. Starting off with the honorable mentions, first up is this one from Jessica Simpson, and this is called Fancy. This is not a new perfume, but a very new one to me. This launched in 2008, frequently compared to Juicy Couture's Gold Couture. To me, this is Gold Couture's older sister. I have been enjoying this for rainy days. This is a fruity gourmand with standout caramel and vanilla in the dry down. This was a blind buy, but I kind of have an idea how it smells like because of the Gold Couture comparison. Next up is a fragrance from by Kilian Paris, and this is called Angel's Share. This is a 2020 release, said to be the best release of 2020. This has cognac, cinnamon, tonka, oak, praline, vanilla, and sandalwood. Both of these fragrances I heard so much about from so many different people. Took me a while to decide on this one, Angel's Share, but I'm so glad I did. Both of these are definitely colder weather fragrance. I know I wouldn't be able to spray them as often as I would like to with the kind of weather we have here. These are definitely special occasion fragrances, Angel's Share being really pricey, so that's that. The next one is a freshie, and this is from Guerlain, called Tea Azura from the Aqua Allegoria line. I heard at least 3 content creators speak highly of this fragrance: Paulina Shar, Josephine from Judah Rose, and Yana from The Scented. This is your chamomile jasmine tea scent, basically a white tea scent with a citrusy opening, very watery, luminous, light, and comforting. This was another blind buy. Moving on to the top 10 fragrances, first up is this one from Zara, and this is called Vetiver Pamplemousse from the Zara Emotions collection, the collaboration with Jo Malone. Arlene from Delicious Delights raved about this perfume. She loved this so much to finish a full bottle. Josephine from Judah Rose also mentioned that this was her favorite from the line, but Arlene totally convinced me to get the bottle. This is a gorgeous grapefruit, mandarin orange, and vetiver scent, perfect for the heat and humidity of summer and the tropical climate we have here. There is a strong blast of zesty grapefruit smell on initial spray, but it very quickly dissipates, giving way to a sweeter, slightly bitter, less tart grapefruit scent that becomes better the longer it stays on skin. If you're worried about the vetiver here, I'm not a fan of vetiver myself. To me, that's a masculine note. But here, I don't get it so much. In fact, not at all. Maybe it's just my nose, but in this weather, the grapefruit is the star of the show. This is very unisex smelling, great as an after shower type scent or a scent you can wear for outdoor type activities on really warm days. This is fairly new to my collection. Wore this a lot in June. It's uncomplicated, very clean smelling, and oh so refreshing. This is a 90 ml bottle. I got this from our local Zara store. Smelled this once in store, snatched a bottle, and never looked back. There was something about how Demi Rolling described CK IN2U For Her that made me want to try this. I happened to get a free decan from another purchase, and after using it up, I was ready to get a full bottle. So this has a fresh citrusy opening, but the citrus here is much too mild and quite fleeting. The dominating scent is a creamy vanilla sandalwood that has a wonderful sillage. Smelling this up close is just meh, but the trail it carries to me is a head turner. This is a big compliment getter. I passed the decant on to my sister to try and now she wore it. I get what Demi Rolling was trying to say. The magic is in the scent bubble this creates. Layer this with Sol de Janeiro Boom Boom Cream or something similar and you're going to smell divine. I know some get a rubbery, latex type scent and some other bothersome notes, but I suggest you try, sample first and see if this formula agrees with you. I was never a fan of gourmand scents until I rediscovered Angel from Heart Evangelista's perfume favorites. This perfume has always made it to her top, and very much like how this brings her down memory lane, I associate this scent to an elegant and kind, accomplished woman. I was told that this was very popular in the 90s, must have smelled this a lot growing up and formed that association. And nowadays, I would like to smell like that. And while I honestly cannot stand the Eau de Parfum version, this one, the Eau de Toilette, I can pull off. This Eau de Toilette is a more modern, fruitier, fresher take on the original while retaining that lovely, dirty patchouli praline in the dry down. I would wear this in colder environment, aircon environment, indoors. This is just lovely. One of the first YouTubers I followed was Alethea Marie. Her channel used to be called The Simple Chic Life. I believe she legally changed her name and renamed her channel altogether. She also does point of view videos, much like I do, and she has the most amazingly soothing voice. Anyway, she raved about this perfume called Micallef Ylang in gold back then, and so I went ahead and blind bought a bottle all the way from Grasse, France. She decluttered this later on though. So anyway, Ylang in gold is my gateway perfume into niche world. I didn't know perfume could smell so elevated, so special and magnificent. This perfume inspired me to open this channel. My very first video in this channel is about this perfume. This is, to me, the epitome of elegance and luxury. I wouldn't wear this on a casual day. This is slightly fruity, predominantly yellow, floral, vanilla gourmand scent with a woody, powdery base and a dash of freshness about it. This is definitely wearable in our local weather, but I imagine this to be too much for the high heat. At the time when there was a hype around Parfums de Marly Delina, Josephine from Jus de Rose repeatedly raved about how Initio Atomic Rose is better than Delina. Who wouldn't be curious about a perfume that is better than what people say is one of the best? So I waited for local decant sellers online and got myself a 5 ml bottle decant of this. After finishing a decant, I knew I was going to get a full bottle, but this isn't too easy to get around here. Importing from overseas was just too pricey. I mean, I love this, but it's not practical to throw away money on import costs. So I bought another decant and waited. And finally, Art of Scent, a local niche retailer, made this available back in May, I believe it was. And here we are with a full bottle. I will be doing a dedicated review of this perfume sometime soon, so stay tuned for that. Next up is a perfume I believe I've never spoken about in my channel. So Tom from Ouch 110 talked about Elie Saab Le Parfum back in an older video. He loved it so much, he gifted it to his best friend for her wedding scent. He described it as having this wedding elegance and he was at a loss for words. This was my first attempt at white florals. I was excited to sample Le Parfum, but when I went to the counter to sniff it for the first time, there was something about the Le Parfum that I didn't like. I'm guessing it's the honey, so I moved on to this flanker, a 2018 launch called Le Parfum in white. This is orange blossom, red berries, and mandarin in the opening, jasmine and peach in the heart, patchouli, white musk, white amber, benzoin, and vanilla in the base. This smells of purity and simplicity. I think the perfumers were truly going for that, having named this Le Parfum in white. This is a simple scent, yet this has some depth to it. It smells a little resinous and ambery as this dries down. A perfect mix of the notes, not too sweet, not too citrusy or fruity, not too floral as well. This isn't going to blow your socks off, but you know how sometimes less is more? This is that fragrance. Francis Cardigan is one of the perfumers for this. I wear this by itself, but most of the time I layer this with a rose fragrance just to make it a little bit more interesting. I usually layer this with Dolce Rose Excelsia. This is a very good combination. So I think everyone needs to own an Elie Saab, the OG or any flanker. I think there's something for everyone, especially if you are an orange blossom white floral fan. Paula Bianca is the only person in this list who knows of my existence, and she introduced me to a whole new indie house called Teodoros Kalotinis, and my top favorite from the two that I have is this one called Aegean Salt and Citrus. So this one is in the same genre as Light Blue by Dolce & Gabbana, and this one also closely resembles Paris Deauville by Chanel, probably because both of them are inspired by the scent and the smell of the Mediterranean. So this is your fresh lemon grapefruit Aegean salt scent with hints of florals, very fresh and aquatic, great to spritz on for that after shower feel, great for the high heat, nothing offensive, great everyday wear, casual smelling, and very, very much affordable. I think this is an underrated house, and shout out again to Paula Bianca for the recommendation. Looking to try more from this house in the future. Paulina Shar is probably the YouTuber who convinced me to buy full bottles the most. Our tastes differ like night and day, but for some reason, the fragrances she made me buy, I truly, truly like. For example, this one over here, Jean Paul Gaultier's La Belle. I've never heard anyone in the fragrance community rave about La Belle like she did, and she still does. I did not even attempt to get a decant or a sample of this at first because it doesn't sound like a perfume I would like. This is your Candied Pear, your Vetiver vanilla perfume. I'm sure there's also floral in here. So one day while perusing some fragrances in the store, the SA offered to spray this on me, and boy, he sprayed a lot. I wasn't too crazy about it, but it wasn't a bad scent either. And that day, I got so many unsolicited compliments. This was also surprisingly wearable in this climate. You'd have guessed what happened next. So I'm looking forward to trying the La Belle Parfum version of this. Olympēa by Paco Rabanne is another fragrance that Paulina Shar made me buy. So this is a limited edition bottle. I believe this is an onyx bottle, but the juice is the Olympēa original. This fragrance is basically a salty caramel vanilla perfume with hints of florals. This is the perfume version of salted caramel ice cream, if you know what I mean. Here you can really smell salt. This is a love at first sniff for me. This is quite polarizing, a love it or hate it type scent, but if it works, it will work wonders. Look at how much I've worn already. So I find though that depending on humidity or heat, this smells a certain way. In fact, in extreme heat and high humidity, this turns sour on me, I have to be very honest. But I love wearing this when it's cooler outdoors, when it's a little bit windy, or for night outs. Having said that, I wear this to work sometimes just to break the monotony of every day, and this works just as well. Sophie from the channel Soki London made me buy a bottle of Versace Bright Crystal Absolu. I don't think she ever hyped this perfume, but because no one else talked so much about the entire line than Sophie did, it was she who convinced me to buy Bright Crystal Absolu. So this is your fresh, fruity, floral, aquatic perfume with a standout raspberry note, very good for lasting. This probably is one of the longer lasting freshies I have, and very affordable too. If you like Chanel Chance Automne, this is a similar vibe, although they don't smell identical. And these, you guys, are the top 10 perfumes YouTube made me buy, plus the honorable mentions. And although many of these content creators do not know me at all, I still want to thank them for bringing all these wonderful fragrances to my attention. And to me, more than anything else, they influenced me to be more adventurous in my perfumes, to think outside the box, go out of my comfort zone, sniff and sample. Yes, it's more often than not at the expense of my pocket, but that's where their influence ends and my reality begins. It's fun to watch hauls and large perfume collections, but at the end of the day, my best recommendation to you guys is to stay within practical boundaries. I know you know what I mean. I thank you again for watching this far. Please comment down below which perfumes in your collection YouTube made you buy, and if you like this video, please give this a huge thumbs up. Subscribe to the channel if you haven't done already. Click on the bell icon to be notified of future uploads in this channel. Stay safe and fragrant, everyone. Bye!